productive. Oh, those emails, they can be so crazy. Okay, let's get started with this Monday webinar. You know, the Monday webinars, the Monday have a look at everything, I'm always so much more energized because I've slept. I usually get some amount of sleep, at least Saturday night to Sunday morning, and then Sunday night to Monday morning I get a little bit of sleep as well. And then pretty much Monday through Friday I don't get any sleep at all. So I'm feeling really revived and ready to rock and roll. So let's get down to the details. First item number one here. At the website, remember, for those that are not members, we'd love to have you join us this week. And you can do so by going to daytradersfx.com and just clicking on that join. That'll get you a free trial and all of that stuff. So click right there and join us this week. See how we use the indicators. See how we trade with the whole everything. I'd love to have you there. Yeah, Mel, 6 whole hours of sleep. I'll tell you, if whenever I get 6 hours of sleep, I feel just great. That's just so much. That's so much sleep, I tell you. Next thing at the website, if you go right to the front, you can see a couple of things. You can download the indicator right on top of the website here, and you can watch the webinar that Rob Booker and I did on the 15th, so just about 5 days ago. We did this last week, and this is explaining some trade ideas and some techniques and so on with the indicator, as well as discovering a couple of other things you can do with it. Plus, there's a fantastic trading system that you can get involved in, so just click right there and you can get that whole thing set up and running, and that is all at daytradersfx.com. So have a look at that. And if you have any questions, send me an email. You can email me at contact right here. That'll go to my assistant, and he will forward any pertinent emails to me, and he can answer all the rest himself because he knows this material better than I do practically. Okay. We have a lot of news this week, but nothing that's really super catching my eye as far as, you know, major news announcements go. So we've got some stuff here and there. We have some Aussie news coming up today, by the way, in just about an hour and a half. Policy, the meeting minutes from, you know, central bank stuff, that's coming up. Well, that's not usually a big mover for Australia. And then we've got some Aussie CPI numbers on Tuesday. Tuesday will be a pretty quiet news day, which is Tuesday news day is going to be pretty chill, which is definitely okay with me. And then we've got some nice UK news on Wednesday. Wednesday's just a massive day of news, so, you know, buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be crazy. So Wednesday is going to be a big one. We have some interest rate votes for the UK, which is a pretty big deal. That's now, everybody has their finger on the pulse of every central bank that might be doing something with interest rates, very much including the US Federal Reserve. Bank of England is going to be probably the only threats of interest rate, you know, hawkish talk is the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve. Australia is nowhere near. Europe obviously is nowhere near, not even close, and New Zealand as well, and so on. All the rest are not really doing anything there, but U.S. and Bank of England, U.S. and England are going to be, you know, pretty hot topics there. We have some Canadian interest rate news, which is expected to remain the same. We'll keep an eye on that. That's all on Wednesday, so just a big day. Some retail sales numbers for the UK on Thursday, some PMI numbers, so on, and then Friday we've got some GDP and home sale numbers for the UK and US. So should be pretty exciting news bit this week. Okay, here are the pairs that I love this week. I just love this week. We're going to start with the euro dollar. I don't have an immediate setup for the euro dollar. All I want to do is sell the rallies. And can you guys imagine why that is? Europe is in a pretty difficult situation, and any movements towards euro strength should be sold, and sell-offs will very likely happen on any of these rallies. So here's the setups that we're looking at. Selling the rally on euro dollar. Right now we have a pretty nice little kind of a sloppy looking bull flag right here, but I'm just going to consider it a bull flag for now. It retraced a little far right here and a little bit right there, but it seems to be holding those levels, and so I think we're going to get a nice little move out of this euro dollar on up. If we just take kind of some sloppy measurements, 250 pips on that flagpole, that would put us 250 pips above 127.00. So I'm absolutely looking for about 129.50 and even 130 to get hit on euro dollar. Again, I don't have any major setups at this point, but if this euro rallies pretty good, look at what our indicator is telling us right now. Euro dollar is at 143 bars, 83 of 143 average on the 1 hour chart. So it's not at a setup yet, but if we get any kind of a rally here and a move higher, especially if we go up 100 or 150 pips above current market price, which would complete this price projection right here of this bull flag, that would be such an excellent selling zone. And so we are going to be looking to, I've been saying this for a while, we're going to be looking to short euro dollar above 129.00, but we've got to get above 129.00 first before I even think about doing anything there. One moment. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Mel, is there a way to estimate the rise on a bull flag? Yes. As far as how far we expect it to go, we measure that bull flag, and then we take that measurement from the lowest point of the flag itself. So we measure the flag pole, which in this case is right here, about 250 pips, and then we go to the lowest point of the retracement on this flag, which is about here, 127.00, and we project that out 250 pips, which puts us at about 129.50. So, and I think that's a really great target. I think the euro is absolutely going to get there. I think it's going to get there. I think we're going to make it above 129.00, and from there, I need you guys to remind me, because sometimes I look at these setups, like I look at this one right here and I say it's so obviously clear that we need to be shorting euro dollar above 129.00, and then it gets above 129.00 and I think, is this going to keep going? What do we do? So I need you guys to all remind me. Send me emails, send me Twitter messages, yell at me here in the chat, and make sure that we all get into this euro dollar short above 129.00. Ideally around 129.50, would be the spot I would look for. Just, 129.50 to 130 is where I want to be shorting euro dollar. It'll obviously be a lot easier if this euro dollar does not pull back to the 200 moving average. If it just keeps moving higher from here, then no problem. We're going to get in this thing and we're going to let it ride and ride and ride until it's down in the low 120s. And we're going to make 600 or 700 or 800 pips on this. Bob, no, I'm not long yet, but yes, I would like to buy the break of this bull flag. This is, technically speaking, this is a pretty great bull flag. And so our entry here, it did break above that already and it's pulled back a little bit. One thing you could do just to kind of be safe, it's pulled back 20 pips or so, you could buy the break of that little high. Our weekly high right there, I think, could be a pretty safe area. We're going to have some decent resistance. You can see that there's a lot of resistance there. So between about 128.15 and 128.35 is going to be some pretty good resistance. So just count on that. But getting long around this area, I think, is going to be good. And like I said, there should be a pretty easy 100 pips on this euro dollar. And yes, Mel, we are going to put some pending orders in, definitely, because that way we don't have any choice. We just get into it and we're good to go. So yeah, we'll have some pending orders. We'll probably put a small pending order at 129.50, and then another pending order, maybe even as high as 130. We might put a pending order at 129.00, 129.50, and 130. A couple of small orders just to make sure I want to be short euro dollar up around that price. So yes, look to buy the break of this bull flag and look for at least 129.00 as a target. So that'll be a good little move. And then from there, we're going to be shorting the mother-loving swear word out of this thing below 130. So up around 129.50 to 130 is going to be our spot. Okay, so that is euro dollar. Pound dollar, I like buying dips and selling rallies. Now, why in the world is that? The pound dollar has made a nice little move here. I'm looking for the pound dollar to reach this cluster of indicators, and I'm pretty darn sure it's going to get there. That's at 163.00, give or take. And here we are at 161, just about 161.50 area. So we've got enough pips to make it interesting. What I like on this pound dollar is that it's made a nice little pullback, and you know, we don't have an amazing setup anywhere. Right now we've got a little bit of a 4-hour chart setup, but that doesn't matter too much. We're not super far from that 4-hour chart, and we actually have a 15-minute chart setup in the other direction. This is a little uncommon to see, but it definitely does happen. The 15-minute chart is looking not too bad at all. So this is why if the 15-minute chart sets up decently well, for example, if the pound dollar runs up to this 200 moving average, which is about 162.00, 162.10, that would put the 15-minute chart at a pretty nice little setup to short. And so at that point, I would like to short the shorter term time frame down, maybe 100 pips, and then look once again for opportunities to get back into pound dollar long into 163.00. I think we're going to get to 163.00 pretty easily on this pound dollar. So again, it might hit 162.00 and pull back 100 pips. Very, 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 very possible. But then from there, we need to be looking for opportunities to buy this thing up to 163.00. So pound dollar is decent. It's giving us some, you know, some decent setups. It might only turn out to be a short-term trade, you know, which is okay. It just might turn out to be a 15-minute chart trade, which I will happily take. Remember, right now on the 15-minute chart, it's already at 55%, which is pretty good. It's already 55 pips from the 200 moving average. You know, it's almost doubled, and I mean it's looking pretty good overall. So if this continues up, we might not get that buying opportunity very soon, but we could get that selling opportunity pretty nicely as well. So that's where our sell the rallies is going to come from, that short-term 15-minute chart trade. So that's what I am liking about pound dollar, but I'm pretty confident we're going to see 163.00 pretty quick. So if this collapses down before then we're still going to keep an eye on 163.00 as a target. But you never know. Maybe just above 162.00 we get an opportunity to short this down to 161.00 or even below. So that's what I'm looking for on pound dollar. Keep in mind, you know, if you guys just did these things blindly that I tell you to do, just blindly, just don't even, you know, do it on a demo account, just everything that I'm thinking about, you'll make all kinds of money. I talk about all these setups, and then I do about half of them because I get all mixed up in market craziness every day, and I think, oh, maybe this is going to happen, maybe this is going to happen. This is the value of planning trades and planning setups and looking ahead a little bit. All these things that I'm talking about are absolutely going to happen. Whether I'm going to have the guts to get into all of them or not is always a big question mark. I've had several people that have done what I have said to do, even in times that I wasn't even willing to do it myself, and they just make crazy amounts of money, and I find myself sometimes chickening out because I just, you know, staring the market in the face sometimes is totally intimidating. And so this is a great reason to place pending orders and, you know, and really just follow the movements and follow the markets. Okay, Adrian, buy the breakout above last 162.40 or buy, yeah, around that kind of stuff is some of what we'll be looking for on pound dollar. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so let's have a little look at Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar. I would like to buy dips, sell breaks, and rallies. That sounds kind of crazy. Let me tell you what I'm talking about on that. Aussie dollar, buy the dips. We have a pretty fantastic, you can see this pretty nicely on the 4-hour chart. We have a pretty excellent double bottom right here. And we have a decent 4-hour chart set up to the buy side. We're at 33%, which isn't amazing. Current max pips are 110, and we've seen maximum numbers at 675. So that is a situation where we have to be a little bit careful. because this is a decent setup into the 200 moving average, but it's not all the way there yet, and we've really only gone just a little ways away from these, into that current max pip zone. So what I want to do, what I'm talking about in buying dips, if this dips down and this level holds again and we get a triple bottom, I'll buy that dip with a stop below this low. I'm not gonna. This isn't a sit in it and let it run kind of a trade. This is if it bounces and we get a triple bottom, meaning that it hits and the next candle closes bullish, then we'll jump into this Aussie dollar long with stops below that low, and we'll target the 200 moving average and even some of these pivot points. If it runs up a bunch and hits that 200 moving average, I'm absolutely looking for opportunities to short Aussie dollar at a higher price. Up around the 90 level or above 90, I would be short Aussie dollar for sure. Or if it runs down and it breaks this low, then I will sell the break like crazy. I will sell the heck out of the break of this Aussie dollar. So again, we're only going to buy that dip if it hits, bounces, gives us a technical triple bottom. Then we'll buy that dip. Otherwise, if it hits and just breaks through, then we're going to look for a pending order below these lows to short this on down and get a really nice 4-hour chart setup, because it's not really a major reversal setup yet, and we can still trade away from the 200 moving average because we're really low numbers at this point. 33%. That's not. That's nothing major yet. Okay, so that is Aussie dollar, and that one's looking great. And Steve, regarding the indicator, everybody stay on with me for a couple of minutes afterwards, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the indicator a little bit more. So I'm going to cover that, Steve, as far as all the details of what we need to do with the indicator. I should have probably covered that at the beginning, but we'll cover it at the end. So everyone just hang on with me for a moment, and we'll go over the indicator details. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on Aussie dollar. That's going to be a great little setup. Surprisingly, I'd like to buy the breaks of Aussie yen. I don't look at Aussie yen too terribly much, but we have a nice little setup. In fact, I look at it so little that I can hardly even find it. The Aussie yen has got a very low grade 13% probability setup on the 4-hour chart. But I like these missed pivots up here. We've got a daily, a weekly, a monthly. These pivots are all looking excellent. Now, this isn't a missed monthly pivot yet because it's still for October, but we've got a nice missed weekly pivot up here at 96.11. That's a pretty good little move there. So I'm looking, if we break this weekly high, we're about 25 pips off that weekly high. If we break that weekly high, we break this trend line area. The 200 moving average is about 100 pips away, and that should be a nice little move there. So if we look at a smaller time frame, basically the break of that high I like a whole bunch, and I think there's some excellent opportunity buying the break of that high. So let's watch for that, and let's just put a little trend line right there. That's the break of that weekly high, which is about 94.20. So again, about 25 pips away from where we currently are. A nice little break of that high would be a great trade for at least, I would say at least 100 pips, at least into about 95.20. And even it could make a massive run up into that 96, 10, 20 area as well. So could be a great setup for Aussie yen. So just watch for that. I have no other trade ideas on Aussie yen besides that one. So I'm just looking to buy that break of the weekly high up into the 200 moving average. Remember, we have a setup for this. It's a low probability setup, but it's decent. And if that happens, then that's going to give us a pretty nice little 15-minute chart setup. The 15-minute chart got really close to hitting, but it didn't hit. And so if this breaks and runs up a nice little bit, then this little 15% probability is going to run up nicely into 70, 80, 90%. And then we'll end up with a nice opportunity to short Aussie yen at a higher price. But at this point, I'm looking to buy that break. And that's about it for the Aussie yen. So it should be a nice little setup. Quickly here, dollar yen. Yeah, Adrian, we'll look at New Zealand yen for sure. But I think it looks pretty similar to Aussie yen, right? Dollar yen, buying dips. This is what I want to do, is buy the heck out of some dips here. And Tom, you're reading my mind here. Dollar yen inverse head and shoulders pattern. Yes, I'm loving this dollar yen, and I want to get into this thing like crazy. And yes, Tom, you could absolutely say that this is kind of our neckline area here. This thing might need a little bit of like a visit to the chiropractor, but here's our nice little neckline of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. And I think this is going to be great. Remember, I said anything below 10700 I wanted to buy, and I didn't do a very good job about that because this thing just tanked all the way down to 105.18, and then it's turned around and kind of headed back up, which is great because it's just giving us that many more and better setups here. And exactly like Tom said, we've got a nice little inverted head and shoulders pattern. This is just looking great. So this could pull back a little bit further, and I would consider buying some dips. I don't have any great setups as far as the indicator goes, but sometimes these price patterns, these head and shoulders patterns are just so great that I can't ignore them, and I have to jump in on them. And this dollar yen is still just a great little opportunity. It's moving nicely, and I think we're going to get a nice buy opportunity out of that. So yes, absolutely buying dips on dollar yen, or worst case scenario, we could just buy the break, which is this head and shoulders right here is about 107.30, 40 area. And we're going to take that one on up from there. So absolutely. So be ready for that. Dollar yen's going to be a big one, and I think we need to jump right into that one. Adrian, that's a good point. Yeah, the Ebola situation has everybody just panicked, and it seems to be overflowing into the market pretty nicely. So yeah, absolutely right. Bob, yes, we are long New Zealand dollar. We're going to talk about that New Zealand dollar in a moment. We're watching it. We've been in New Zealand dollar for a while. And here's what I think about New Zealand dollar. Nice 100% everything. It's going to hit that 200 moving average pretty quick. I am going to go ahead and put this out there. I think the New Zealand dollar is going to run a bit. I would like to sell rallies on New Zealand dollar. And I might, and we may be looking to do that, but I think this New Zealand dollar is going to, I think once we get above 80, it's just going to keep on keeping on. And I think we could get 8100 and maybe even a little bit more. So I'm watching for that. One reason being the New Zealand dollar took such a hit, and I don't think, I'm definitely not bullish New Zealand dollar. I mean, short term I am, but look what we have right here. This is one of the big things that I'm looking at is We've really stalled out at this monthly pivot and the 23% fib from this big drop right here. And that's at about 79.75, which is exactly where we are. See that 23% fib just sitting right there? When we start to clear that, we haven't had any daily closes above that, and that's what we want to see. But when we start clearing that, there's about a 100% chance that we're going to reach at least 8150 area, and even potentially further than that. So I love that. I think that's a great opportunity, and there's some very fantastic targets way up here. I'm not sure how high I think it's going to go. I think 8150 is going to be like a minimum, but I think we're going to make a nice little run. And yeah, Adrian, I think we could totally see 8300. I would target about 8150, and beyond that, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, too late to enter. No, Bo, no. We'll be looking for some additional opportunities. We'll be talking about that in the group this week. Some possible buy dip opportunities on this one. You never know. We might test this 200 or this current weekly pivot and the 200 moving average down here around 79.10, and then bounce up from there. But we're absolutely going to get long, stay long, be long New Zealand dollar. So great looking setup there. And those are kind of the ones that I'm most interested in at the moment. By the way, for anybody in the group that stayed in the pound yen, and I know a couple of people did, congratulations. We closed our pound yen with over 200 pips in profit on Friday right before the market closed, right around 17200. and it opened with a nice gap up, and it's continued up almost 100 pips further. It's about 80 pips beyond where we closed. So for anybody that's still in pound yen long, and I know a couple of people are, I've received a few emails and texts about it. Good work, guys. This one is our goal for the pound yen was definitely to get it up into 173.50. But as the market was closing, there's always those crazy gaps that I just don't want to deal with. And this one happened to gap up, which was great. Could have gapped down. And so I just wanted to take our profit. But it's going to get to that 173.50. We can pretty much count on that. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks. Yeah, that was a great trade. And Bo, I don't know if I would re-enter just yet. I need to find, I would need to find some sort of price pattern, some sort of reason for entry. And then, yeah, we'd think about re-entering for sure. For sure. Okay, so there we have that. Yes, Tom, that's a great idea. Yep, dollar yen, just start buying that thing and just keep adding as it breaks that neckline. Yeah. Good, yeah, good attitude, Mel. Absolutely, yeah. We're definitely not going to get 100% of any movements, and that was a nice one. So we'll take it for sure. But there's lots more trades and lots more pips to come. So everybody be ready for that. Okay, guys, let me do this real quick with everyone. I'm going to just have this carry on to the end of the webinar here. For those that need to get the indicator, the updated indicator, here's a couple of things to remember. Number one, let me get the link here. I'm going to post the link in the chat so that we can, hold on here. Here is the link where you can download the indicator, and here is what you have to do, just to make sure everyone's super clear with this. Here's the new indicator right here. I sent out the email already, by the way. So there's the link to download the new indicator. Download it, save it onto your desktop, and then before you install it, go to File and Data folder right here. Open that up and delete it. Delete the old version. So this is version 2 right here. So just delete this guy, that guy, and that guy. Just delete those three right in your data folder. Just delete, move out, take out, and then once those are out, then copy and paste the new indicator in here. Double click on it as always, and extract and overwrite all, and install and all that stuff, and then restart your MetaTrader, and you should have that third line of data. Now remember, you won't have the third line, on something that doesn't have a setup. But like, here's our 15-minute chart, pound yen. We should, come on, 15. There we go. So current max pips 9. And so on. So for anybody, I sent out the email. Hopefully everybody got that. But if you do not have the new indicator, then that will get you set up on the new indicator. So that link is right there. That's a new updated indicator. Use and abuse. Make sure that before you install it, you delete the old indicator out of your MetaTrader, because it's been creating errors just installing the new one on top of the old one. So make sure you delete the old one first, and then just copy and paste the new one in there and double click on it and let it run, and it should be working out great. Okay, let me get this recording posted, notes updated, details and details. Questions, comments, guys, let me know. Very excellent to see you all on here with us. Always good to see everybody. And great to have you all with us. Let me get this recording going.